Neji and Rock Lee. If Naruto and Sasuke are the faces of destiny versus free will, then Neji and Rock Lee are the undercard, as intense, as emotional, but often overlooked. Neji was the Hyuga prodigy, a genius born into a cursed role in his clan, yet still able to master techniques that most couldn't even attempt. Rock Lee, the boy who couldn't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, a shinobi who had to rely only on taijutsu and pure effort. They were polar opposites, one born with it all, the other with nothing but grit. Lee trained harder than anyone. He wanted to prove that effort could beat talent. Neji, on the other hand, had to keep proving that even a genius wasn't free from expectations and pressure. Their rivalry wasn't built on hatred, but on constant comparison and silent motivation. Ironically, it wasn't a direct fight with Neji that made Lee shine. It was his battle with Gaara. That fight shook everyone. Even Neji was forced to reevaluate his beliefs. For the first time, he saw that hard work might actually surpass talent. Still, their rivalry faded after the Chunin exams. The series gave them a few scenes together afterward, and Neji's death in the Fourth Great Ninja War ended any hope of future growth. Lee became the symbol of effort, someone everyone respected, including Neji. If Naruto and Sasuke are the main duo, then Neji and Lee are the B-side that deserved way more love. This rivalry had depth, emotion, and a strong start, but got lost in the chaos of later arcs. A hidden gem that never reached its full potential. Naruto and Neji. When Naruto first met Neji, they were complete opposites. Neji believed everything was decided by fate. Naruto believed in changing your destiny with your own hands. That clash of belief systems made their Chunin exam battle feel like more than a fight. It was a war of philosophies. Neji called Hinata weak and unworthy. He claimed he couldn't change his life because the Hyuga clan had already written his fate. Naruto wasn't having any of it. He fought with all he had, and won. Naruto didn't only beat Neji, he changed him. After the fight, Neji abandoned his fatalistic views. He started to see choice and effort as stronger than birthright. That battle rewrote his entire worldview. Still, this rivalry was a one-way street. Neji changed. Naruto didn't. For Naruto, Neji was a powerful opponent, but not someone who truly shaped his journey. Sasuke was always that person. Naruto didn't just defeat Neji. He dismantled an entire belief system in one punch. So while this rivalry was crucial for Neji's character arc, it didn't go both ways. That keeps it from ranking among the greats. Sakura and Ino. Among all rivalries in Naruto, Sakura and Ino stand out for being the only true rivalry between two female ninjas. And surprisingly, it all started not from a clash of ideologies or a mission gone wrong, but from a mutual crush on the same boy, Sasuke Uchiha. In their early days as genin, this rivalry was more than just a fight for affection. It pushed both girls to try harder, to be better, and to stand out. Ino had always been more confident, while Sakura started off shy and unsure. But the rivalry sparked a fire in Sakura that made her want to grow stronger, not just to win Sasuke's attention, but to prove she wasn't the weak girl she used to be. Their Chunin exam match was the high point of their rivalry, a brutal, emotional, and surprisingly even fight that ended in a draw. But more than the result, the fight showed how much they both cared, not about Sasuke, but about being seen as strong shinobi in their own right. After the exam, though, the rivalry began to fade. Sakura became Tsunade's student, learning medical ninjutsu and monstrous strength, while Ino stayed in the shadow of her team. The gap between them grew wider, and their competition quietly turned back into friendship. In the end, their rivalry lacked the emotional weight or long-term development to be a major threat in the series. It started strong, but once Sakura surged ahead, the rivalry lost all tension. A nice side story, but never the main act. Hinata and Neji. This rivalry wasn't born in battle. it came from blood. The Hyuga clan's brutal structure split their family into a main branch and a side branch. Neji, part of the side branch, carried the curse mark. Hinata, from the main branch, was meant to inherit the clan. Naturally, resentment grew. Neji saw Hinata as weak, unworthy of her position. So he trained harder, fought better, and made it his mission to prove that fate was a lie. Hinata, meanwhile, struggled to overcome her shy nature and the weight of being a failure in the eyes of her own father. Their Chunin exam match was heartbreaking. Neji nearly crushed her spirit and her body. But Hinata didn't back down. She showed courage, determination, and the will to keep going even after taking blow after blow. Years later, everything came full circle. During the war, Neji sacrificed his life to save Hinata, from trying to destroy her to giving his life for her. That's what makes this rivalry unique. It ends in redemption. Neji once tried to kill Hinata. In the end, he died to protect her. It's not poetic, it's tragic. Still, because the rivalry didn't last long or evolve further before Neji's death, it doesn't rank as one of the series' biggest. But emotionally, it hits hard. Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Jiraiya and Orochimaru were teammates, but they were opposites cut from the same cloth. Jiraiya was reckless, loud, and always playing catch-up. Orochimaru, a cold-blooded genius who made everything look effortless. If Naruto and Sasuke grew up, you'd get something eerily similar to this legendary pair. From the very beginning, Jiraiya tried to surpass Orochimaru, but it was never just about strength. Jiraiya saw Orochimaru as a friend, a rival, and a mystery he could never quite solve. Their rivalry pushed both to incredible heights, Sannin level. Yet the more Jiraiya chased, the further Orochimaru slipped away. When Orochimaru betrayed the Hidden Leaf, their dynamic shifted. No longer a rivalry of strength, it became a chase. Jiraiya wasn't trying to outdo Orochimaru anymore. He wanted to bring him back. Even when it was clear Orochimaru had chosen a darker path, Jiraiya refused to give up hope. They rarely fought directly, but their lives constantly echoed each other. One chasing power through darkness, one clinging to hope through light. The emotional weight was always there, even in silence. Jiraiya really thought he could win Orochimaru back with friendship speeches. Bless his soul. This rivalry never reached its climax in battle. It burned quietly in the background, fueling both characters. Strong, meaningful, but lacking the direct, dramatic moments to make it legendary. Hiruzen and Danzo. Behind the scenes of every major event in the Leaf Village was a silent war between two old friends. Hiruzen, the idealistic third Hokage. Danzo, the shadow who believed peace came through control. Their rivalry wasn't flashy, but it shaped the very core of the village. Danzo always believed he should have been Hokage. When he didn't get the title, he created Root, a secret organization built on absolute obedience and manipulation. While Hiruzen led with kindness and trust, Danzo used fear and sacrifice. It was a full-on philosophical war. Danzo's jealousy ran deep. He even plotted Hiruzen's assassination at one point, but Hiruzen never lashed out. He tolerated Danzo, hoping to keep balance within the village. Maybe he believed there was still good in him. Maybe he didn't want to fight an old friend. Their rivalry came to a quiet end during the Fourth Great Ninja War, when Danzo died alone, surrounded by the consequences of his own choices. Hiruzen forgave Danzo to the very end, even when Danzo never stopped resenting him. That line hits hard. This rivalry was deep, tragic, and political. But it lacked the big emotional payoff or frequent tension to stand among Naruto's greatest. Obito and Kakashi. Few rivalries in Naruto carry the emotional weight of Obito and Kakashi. What started as a lighthearted clash between teammates became one of the darkest, most dramatic confrontations in the entire series. Obito was the loudmouth dreamer. Kakashi was the cold, talented prodigy. They clashed, but it was the kind of rivalry that grows into real friendship. Then came the mission. The boulder. The sacrifice. Obito was gone. or so Kakashi thought. Years later, Obito returned as Tobi. His descent into darkness wasn't only about Rin's death. It was about betrayal, pain, and the belief that the world was beyond saving. And the one person who stood in his way? Kakashi. Their battle during the Fourth Great Ninja War was brutal, both physically and emotionally. Two broken men, both blaming themselves, both holding on to fragments of the past. It was a reckoning. Obito gave Kakashi his Sharingan, then spent years trying to kill him. He gave him an eye, then tried to take his life. A full circle tragedy. That quote sums it up perfectly. In the end, Obito chose redemption. He died protecting Kakashi and Naruto, his old friends, his lost ideals. Their rivalry had everything: friendship, betrayal, power, and a haunting finale. This is one of Naruto's most unforgettable rivalries. Not for the action, but for the story it told. A story of two kids, forever tied by pain, choice, and fate. Naruto and Sasuke. The rivalry between Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha is the emotional core of the entire Naruto series. It's more than just two powerful ninjas clashing. It's a story about two boys who grew up alone, broken, and desperately searching for meaning. One tried to earn love, the other tried to escape pain, and somehow their paths kept crossing again and again. At first glance, Naruto and Sasuke couldn't be more different. Naruto was the class clown, the weakest in the academy, and hated by the whole village. Sasuke was the top student, cool and distant, admired by everyone. But underneath, they were the same. Both were orphans. Both suffered in silence. That's why, deep down, they understood each other better than anyone else ever could. Their rivalry started in Team 7. Naruto was always chasing Sasuke, desperate to prove himself. Sasuke, even while acting cold, slowly came to accept Naruto as an equal, someone who could truly match his power and maybe even his pain. Their friendly competition turned into true rivalry during the Chunin exams. They pushed each other to new heights. But everything changed when Sasuke received the curse mark from Orochimaru. From there, their rivalry took a darker turn. Sasuke's obsession with revenge pushed him to leave the village, and Naruto made it his mission to bring him back as a teammate and as a brother. The first major clash at the Valley of the End was a heartbreaking farewell. Naruto wanted to save Sasuke, but he wanted to cut ties with everything. The contrast between effort and talent, light and darkness, came to life in that battle. What's ironic is that while Naruto spent years chasing Sasuke, Sasuke only ever chased Itachi. The line "Naruto chased Sasuke his whole life, but Sasuke only cared about Itachi" sounds funny, but it hits hard. It shows how one-sided the pursuit was, until later when the roles reversed. After Itachi's death, Sasuke fell deeper into hatred. Meanwhile, Naruto trained harder than ever. From Sage Mode to Kurama's power, he evolved far beyond the class clown he once was. But no matter how powerful he became, Naruto never gave up on Sasuke. Not once. That's why their final battle, again at the Valley of the End, felt so raw. They weren't fighting to win, they were fighting to understand. In that final clash, both lost an arm, but more importantly, they gained closure. Naruto finally reached Sasuke. Sasuke finally accepted Naruto. Their rivalry, built on loneliness and pain, ended in mutual respect. They didn't need to talk anymore. Just a fist bump said it all. This rivalry defines Naruto. It's the longest, most emotional, and most personal story in the series. But it's not perfect. The long gaps in interaction, especially during Shippuden, weaken the pacing. Still, in terms of character growth, emotional depth, and sheer impact, this rivalry is legendary. Madara and Hashirama. Before Naruto and Sasuke, there was Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju, two boys who dreamed of peace, only to become the greatest enemies in ninja history. This rivalry shaped the entire shinobi world. If Naruto and Sasuke are echoes of this bond, then Madara and Hashirama are the original tragedy. They first met as kids, throwing stones by the river, unaware of each other's clan names. Despite being from opposing sides, they connected. Both had lost brothers in battle. Both were sick of the war. Their friendship grew stronger, even though it was built on lies. And when the truth came out, that Hashirama was a Senju and Madara an Uchiha, the bond was tested. Even then, they tried to change the world together. They created Konoha, a village meant to end the cycle of hatred. But ideals aren't enough. Madara never truly believed peace was possible. Not when his clan was treated with suspicion. Not when his own friend, Hashirama, became Hokage instead of him. Their philosophies split. Hashirama believed in cooperation. Madara believed in control. He left the village, seeking strength to impose his version of peace. Their clash at the Valley of the End was the ultimate showdown. And Hashirama won, but at the cost of killing his best friend. Or so he thought. Madara, ever the planner, cheated death. He spent decades manipulating events, using Obito, creating chaos, all to activate the infinite Tsukuyomi, a dream world without conflict. It's ironic. The man who couldn't trust peace ended up trying to force it upon the world. What makes this rivalry special is the weight behind every moment. When they fight, it's not about ninjutsu. It's history, broken dreams, and betrayal crashing together. Madara yelled, "You are not the god of this world," as he battles Hashirama says it all. He was angry and heartbroken. Even in the end, when Madara lay dying, he admitted it. Hashirama was right. Peace needed understanding, not control. That final moment, where they talked like old friends again, brought their story full circle. Two boys with a dream, ruined by reality. This rivalry is brutal, epic, and tragic. It may not have the humor or personal closeness of Naruto and Sasuke, but it's the most powerful in terms of scale and legacy. This was the rivalry that defined history. Might Guy and Kakashi. Most rivalries are serious. They come from pain, betrayal, or some deep emotional wound. But Might Guy and Kakashi, these two turned competition into something fun, meaningful, and lasting. If Madara and Hashirama show the cost of dreams falling apart, Guy and Kakashi show what happens when rivalry builds something unbreakable. From the moment they met, Guy declared Kakashi his eternal rival. Kakashi, being cool and disinterested, brushed him off. But Guy never gave up. From running laps around the village to counting push-ups, Guy made everything a competition. It was hilarious. But underneath the jokes was something real. A need to grow, to be acknowledged, to push each other forward. Kakashi, the genius, didn't think he needed anyone. Guy, the underdog, believed in hard work over talent. Sound familiar? Their rivalry mirrors Rock Lee and Neji, or Naruto and Sasuke, but without the trauma. It's a rivalry done right. Over the years, Guy actually kept score. He proudly declared his wins, even in the dumbest contests. Kakashi never cared, or so it seemed. But during the Fourth Great Ninja War, everything changed. When Guy opened all 8 gates and went up against Madara, the real, full-power Madara, Kakashi's reaction showed the truth. He was scared. He was proud. He knew Guy was a hero. That fight was pure insanity. Guy burned his life away, turned the battlefield into a furnace, and actually made Madara, the god-tier villain, feel fear. That moment proved what Guy always said. With hard work, anything is possible. And Kakashi knew it. Their bond was never about beating each other. It was about pushing each other higher. Kakashi helped Guy realize his potential. Guy helped Kakashi stay human. Even after the war, Guy in a wheelchair and Kakashi as Hokage, they kept the rivalry alive. Still racing, still smiling. This rivalry doesn't have betrayal, hatred, or giant battles over ideology. But that's what makes it perfect. It's healthy, long-lasting, and honestly, kind of wholesome. If Naruto and Sasuke represent rivalry through pain, Guy and Kakashi show rivalry through friendship. That's why, in the end, this rivalry might be the best one. Because it never needed saving. It was always real. Minato Namikaze. Minato Namikaze, the legendary fourth Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, is one of the most brilliant geniuses in the history of the ninja world. His talent is not only shown in his assumption of the Hokage position at such a young age, but also in his ability to create unique jutsu of his own. I'm talking about Rasengan, a technique that has left a deep mark in the world of Naruto. According to Jiraiya-sama, it took Minato 3 years to perfect this technique. The nature of Rasengan is a powerful spinning ball of chakra created and maintained in the user's palm. When it makes contact with the target, it can cause severe damage, if not total destruction. Just look at the level of devastation Naruto caused with Rasengan during his fight with Sasuke before the time skip. Even though he was still young and hadn't developed Rasengan to higher power levels, it still left Sasuke shocked. The inspiration for Minato to create Rasengan came from the Tailed Beast Ball, a highly powerful technique used by the Tailed Beasts. He created this technique to protect Kushina Uzumaki, his beloved wife, and a Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Thus, one of the strongest jutsu in the ninja world was created out of an immense amount of love. However, Minato soon realized that Rasengan still had a lot of untapped potential. He understood that combining chakra nature transformations with Rasengan could elevate its power to new heights. Unfortunately, he passed away before he could accomplish this. In battle, Minato often combined Rasengan skillfully with Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God technique. This combination created lightning-fast, unpredictable attacks, leaving the opponent with almost no chance to react, like when he fought Obito. Besides him, Jiraiya and Kakashi were also able to use this technique, and Naruto was the one who perfected it and pushed its power to new levels. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki, known for being sometimes quite foolish and not great with theoretical things, possesses an extraordinary creative mindset when it comes to developing jutsu, especially with Rasengan. The legacy his father left him. After learning Rasengan from Jiraiya, and with guidance from Kakashi Hatake, the copy ninja, Naruto succeeded in adding wind chakra to Rasengan, creating a new technique with devastating power, Rasen Shuriken. Not stopping there, after learning Sage Mode, he could throw the Rasen Shuriken toward his opponent. Later on, with his incredible battle instincts and limitless creativity, Naruto developed many variations of Rasengan by combining it with the chakra of the tailed beasts. Each variation carried unique power and was effectively used in different situations. It could be said that Naruto transformed Rasengan from a simple technique into an entire diverse and rich jutsu system. Not only that, we also have to mention Sexy no Jutsu. Well, Naruto creates clones of himself and turns into seductive girls, often without clothes. This jutsu is usually seen as silly and is often used in humorous situations, but it has proven to be surprisingly effective, even against powerful opponents, like Kaguya. Kaguya was so strong that even touching her was a challenge, but thanks to the harem technique, Naruto was able to temporarily neutralize Kaguya's Byakugan and land a decent punch on her. At first, this might sound foolish and unserious, but it's clear that this technique is quite clever in exploiting the opponent's psychology. Naruto can disrupt the enemy's mind, creating openings in their defense. Later on, he even taught both Rasengan and Sexy no Jutsu to Konohamaru. Tobirama Senju. Tobirama Senju, the second Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, is one of the greatest ninjas in the history of the ninja world. With his sharp mind and extraordinary research abilities, he left behind a massive legacy of jutsu that had a profound impact on the ninja world. It can be said that without Tobirama's inventions, the landscape of the ninja world would be completely different. Among the jutsu created by Tobirama, Kagebunshin no Jutsu is probably the most widely known technique. Unlike regular clone techniques, shadow clones create complete copies that are capable of fighting. Each clone can use chakra and perform jutsu just like the original. This technique later became Naruto Uzumaki's trademark, as he has the ability to create thousands of clones at once. He also created the Flying Thunder God Jutsu, a space-time jutsu, when he was very young. This technique allows the user to instantly teleport to any location marked with a special seal. When he first used it, he defeated Izuna Uchiha. Later on, Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, inherited and perfected this technique,
making it one of the most terrifying jutsu on the battlefield and earning him the title of the Yellow Flash of the Leaf Village. And of course, we must mention Tobirama's most controversial invention, Edo Tensei. This is a jutsu that allows the user to summon and control the souls of the dead, turning them into immortal warriors. Although Tobirama himself struggled with the consequences of this technique and eventually declared it forbidden, it was still used later on. At first, Orochimaru used this forbidden technique to resurrect himself and the first Hokage. Although the technique was not yet perfected at that time, and the two Hokages that were summoned didn't showcase much of their full power, it was still a significant event. Later, Kabuto Yakushi perfected the technique and unleashed its terrifying power during the Fourth Great Ninja War. The number of souls he controlled was massive, about 40 people, all of whom were elite ninjas with incredibly powerful and unique skills. If Itachi hadn't broken this jutsu, the Ninja Alliance would have been worn out fighting these reanimated corpses. Then, after being resurrected, Orochimaru used the technique once again to summon the previous 4 Hokages, bringing them back with nearly all their strength from when they were alive. Truly, it's a jutsu that is perfectly suited for war. Not only was Tobirama brilliant in creating special jutsu, but he was also a master of water style. He created the water release, water-severing wave, a technique that allows the user to turn chakra into water and release it as a high-pressure stream. This stream of water is powerful enough to cut through anything in its path, including the roots of the god tree. All the jutsu created by Tobirama demonstrate his deep understanding of the nature of chakra and the natural laws. It's safe to say that creativity and knowledge were his greatest strengths. Hashirama Senju. Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, is a legendary figure known as the God of Shinobi. His strength far exceeded that of ordinary ninjas. What made Hashirama famous was his unique ability, wood release, Mokuton. This Kekkei Genkai is extremely special, allowing him to control and create trees at will. While many ninjas in the Naruto series can use wood release, this is because they later acquire his cells. In his era, Hashirama was the only one who naturally possessed this ability, making him the strongest user of wood release and the creator of all Mokuton techniques. There are many wood release techniques in the series, but I won't go into all of them here. I believe Hashirama and his Mokuton powers deserve their own video. However, let's take a look at the pinnacle of Hashirama's use of Mokuton, the 1,000-armed Kan-on technique. This technique allows him to create a giant Buddha statue with thousands of wooden arms. When combined with Sage Mode, the scale and power of this technique are greatly increased. To put it in perspective, the statue created by Hashirama is about 10 times taller than the Nine Tails wrapped in Madara's Susanoo. The mountains around it suddenly look incredibly small, and just by comparing the statue created by Obito with the one Hashirama created, you can see the huge difference in scale between the first Hokage and other users of Mokuton. Clearly, no one else can perform techniques on such a grand scale as Hashirama did. In addition to Mokuton, Hashirama is also said to have created the body replacement technique. Although it is considered one of the lowest-ranked techniques and is regarded as a basic skill, it is truly very ninja-like. Just before being attacked, the user replaces themselves with a log or something similar. Since the attack hits this object, the opponent may temporarily believe they have successfully struck the user. However, of course, they haven't hit the user. The opponent will quickly realize what has happened. If the user is fast enough, they can take advantage of the brief moment when the opponent is distracted to counterattack or use the time to escape. It can be said that Hashirama Senju's legacy is not only about founding the Hidden Leaf Village or his glorious military achievements, but also about his deep contributions to the art of ninjutsu through his unique techniques.
Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi Hatake, the 6th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, is one of the rare geniuses in the ninja world. He reached the rank of Jonin at around the age of 13, an extraordinary achievement. As a student of the 4th Hokage, he was able to use Rasengan, but he couldn't combine his lightning chakra with the technique. So he chose a different path. He created his own technique, and that technique was Chidori. The essence of Chidori is gathering a large amount of lightning chakra into the palm of the user's hand, forming a powerful electrical current. In comparison, while Rasengan has the ability to cause destruction over a wide area, the strongest ability of Chidori is its piercing power. However, the weakness of this technique is that the user must rush toward the opponent at high speed in a straight line, making it easy to be trapped and counterattacked. Because of this, Sharingan becomes an essential tool when using Chidori, as the user can predict the opponent's movements. The first time Kakashi used this technique, he didn't have the Sharingan and was very impulsive. If the 4th Hokage hadn't intervened at that moment, there might not have been a 6th Hokage Kakashi in the future. Building on the foundation of Chidori, Kakashi developed a stronger variant called Raikiri. Compared to Chidori, Raikiri has much greater power and accuracy, becoming one of Kakashi's main techniques throughout his ninja career. When Kakashi gained both Mangekyou Sharingan and the Six Paths Chakra, he was able to perform Kamui Raikiri. The power of this technique was clearly shown in his battle against Kaguya Otsutsuki, where it could harm one of the strongest characters in the Naruto world. After the 4th Great Ninja War ended, Kakashi's loss of the Sharingan made it difficult for him to use Raikiri effectively as before. However, he developed a new technique, Lightning Release, Purple Electricity, to make up for this deficiency. This shows his extraordinary adaptability and his constant creativity as one of the greatest ninja in the Hidden Leaf. Oh, and don't forget the 1,000 Years of Death technique, which I personally rank among the highest damage close combat jutsu. If he had used this technique on Daivapath at this moment, the outcome of the battle might have been different. Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke Uchiha, one of the last geniuses of the Uchiha clan, went through a tragic journey as the only survivor of the massacre caused by his own brother, Itachi. However, it was these challenges and pains that pushed Sasuke to continuously develop his strength, leading to the creation of many unique techniques that carry his personal touch. Building on the foundation of Chidori, a technique he learned from Kakashi, Sasuke developed several powerful variations. Chidori Spear allows him to create a long spear made of lightning chakra, while with Chidori Senbon, he can shoot numerous electric needles to attack from a distance. Notably, Chidori Nagashi is a unique development that lets Sasuke cover his entire body with electrical energy, enabling both effective offense and defense. We also have to mention Kagutsuchi. This technique allows him to control the black flames of Amaterasu, which are said to be unstoppable and uncontrollable, according to his will. That's right, Sasuke didn't create Amaterasu, but he is the only one known to be able to control it. Sasuke can create all kinds of weapons from this fire, such as swords, spears, and even armor, each possessing the destructive power of Amaterasu, but completely controlled by him. Among Sasuke's creations, Kirin is probably the most impressive technique in terms of scale and power. It is an extremely unique lightning-based technique, not only because of its destructive power, but also due to its distinctive way of functioning. Instead of creating and controlling lightning from chakra, like most other techniques, Kirin utilizes weather conditions to summon a massive natural lightning bolt in the shape of a dragon. The power of Kirin is so immense that it can destroy structures in an instant, and the user only needs to expend a small amount of chakra to control it. This technique is a perfect example of minimal effort for maximum destructive power. Just like Naruto and Kakashi, Sasuke is able to rely on a base technique to create his own unique system of jutsu. Tsunade Senju. Tsunade Senju, the granddaughter of the first Hokage Hashirama Senju and one of the legendary 3 ninjas, has left an unforgettable mark in the history of ninjutsu with her groundbreaking contributions to the field of medical ninjutsu. She researched and created advanced medical jutsu, particularly the Creation Rebirth technique. Creation Rebirth is one of Tsunade's greatest achievements, a technique that redefined the limits of healing in the ninja world. The essence of this technique is stimulating cell division at an incredibly fast rate, allowing the user to recover almost instantly from any injury, even the most severe. To perform this technique, Tsunade developed a special method of chakra storage through the yin seal on her forehead, an accomplishment that required perfect chakra control and years of energy accumulation. Building upon the foundation of creation rebirth, Tsunade developed the strength of 100 technique, Byakugo no Jutsu, an advanced version that allows her to maintain a healing state for a long period. This technique not only heals injuries, but also significantly enhances the user's strength and speed. Typically, medical ninjutsu is considered support, where the user doesn't engage directly in combat and must stay alive to heal their allies. However, with Byakugo, Tsunade joined the other Kage to fight against Madara. Even though Madara pierced her body and caused her serious injuries, Tsunade was able to instantly recover and continue fighting. Of course, strength comes with a price. While Tsunade's techniques make her nearly immortal for a period of time, using creation rebirth and the strength of 100 technique shortens the user's lifespan due to the excessive cell division. Nevertheless, this does not diminish the importance of Tsunade's contributions to the ninja world, especially in the field of medical ninjutsu. Her techniques continue to be developed and passed down through future generations. Orochimaru. Orochimaru is one of the most complex and terrifying characters in the world of Naruto, and I would say he's one of the longest living ones as well. As one of the legendary 3 Sannin of the Hidden Leaf Village, his talents were evident from a very young age under the guidance of the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. With his exceptional intellect and endless ambition, Orochimaru spent his life pursuing knowledge and seeking to master every jutsu in the world. However, life is too short, and one lifetime isn't enough to acquire all the knowledge in the world, so he created the living corpse reincarnation technique to pursue immortality. This jutsu is a terrifying technique that allows him to transfer his soul into the body of another person. By constantly changing hosts, he can survive across generations, accumulating knowledge and power without end. We also need to mention the Cursed Seal. This is one of Orochimaru's most malicious inventions. The Cursed Seal not only enhances the strength of its recipient, but also serves as a tool for Orochimaru to control them. Sasuke Uchiha and Anko Mitarashi are prime examples of the power and danger of this seal. Each seal contains a portion of Orochimaru's chakra, allowing him to revive even if he is destroyed. An excellent life insurance for his long-term schemes. As you can see, Sasuke killed Orochimaru once, and Itachi sealed part of Orochimaru inside Sasuke using the Totsuka blade. But he was still able to come back thanks to the seal on Anko. He truly is a mad scientist. It can be said that Orochimaru is a genius with limitless ambition who pushed the boundaries of jutsu to new extremes. Whether his methods were ethical or not, no one can deny his enormous influence on the world of ninjas. Boruto Uzumaki. Boruto Uzumaki, the son of the 7th Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki, has proven that he is not just the Hokage's son. From a very young age, Boruto displayed incredible natural talent by mastering 3 basic elemental chakras, an achievement that not every ninja can accomplish. Under the guidance of Konohamaru, Boruto not only learned Rasengan, the signature technique of the Uzumaki clan, but also developed it to a whole new level. By combining lightning release chakra with Rasengan, Boruto created the Vanishing Rasengan, a unique variant that becomes invisible after being launched. This is something that even Kakashi could not accomplish. This technique proved to be highly effective in his battle with Momoshiki Otsutsuki, as even someone with the Byakugan could not detect or avoid it. Not stopping there, Boruto's training with Kakashi Hatake helped him develop the high compression Rasengan. This is a version of Rasengan compressed with extremely high chakra density, significantly enhancing its destructive power and accuracy. We also have the super high compression Rasengan, the ultimate version with 10 times the power of the regular high compression Rasengan. Wow, Just like Naruto, he's created so many Rasengan variations. I'm really wondering if I should make a video about it. What do you guys think? However, natural talent can sometimes be a burden. The new generation of ninjas not only inheriting the legacy of their ancestors, but also needing to develop it in their own way, makes character and storyline development more complex. Gamamaru. Leading all the powerful creatures of Mount Myoboku is Gamamaru, the Great Toad Sage. Being the leader of one of the 3 sage regions, he holds some of the biggest secrets in the entire shinobi world. Gamamaru is old. Like, really old. He was around even before Otsutsuki Kaguya touched down on Earth. Because of this ridiculous lifespan, Gamamaru is basically a walking, talking history book, witnessing every major event in the ninja world from the very beginning. He literally watched chakra go from being some weird, unknown energy to the foundation of shinobi society. He saw the rise of ninja villages, the bloody shinobi wars, and then the birth of Naruto's generation. Gamamaru played a major role in key moments of the ninja world. Over 1,000 years before Naruto's time, when Kaguya Otsutsuki ruled with the infinite Tsukuyomi, Gamamaru secretly approached Hagoromo and Hamura. He revealed the dark truth about their mother and the God Tree, which was draining the world's energy. Not only that, Gamamaru directly trained the Otsutsuki brothers in senjutsu, the art of using natural energy, which later became one of the strongest techniques in the ninja world. He gave them the tools to challenge a god. In one of the most crucial moments in history, Gamamaru handed Hagoromo a special seal tag, the result of centuries of research by the Sage Toads. This little piece of magic helped Hagoromo snap Hamura out of Kaguya's brainwashing. And let's not forget, Gamamaru is the greatest prophet in ninja history. He has a mystical crystal ball that lets him track anyone as long as he knows their chakra. And with it, he doesn't just see the present. He catches glimpses of the future. Basically, Gamamaru has a built-in shinobi-grade CCTV system that lets him monitor the entire world without ever leaving Mount Myoboku. He was the one who prophesied to Hagoromo about a mischievous, blue-eyed boy, clearly referring to Naruto, who would one day change the ninja world. To Jiraiya, he predicted that the guy would grow into a legendary shinobi and also a top-tier perv, let's be real, and that he would train a student destined to end the endless cycle of hatred that had plagued the world for centuries. Through Gamamaru, Kishimoto created a side character that silently shaped the entire Naruto storyline. From training the Sage of Six Paths to foreseeing Naruto's rise, to establishing the senjutsu tradition later passed down to Jiraiya and Naruto. All roads lead back to this seemingly harmless old toad. Turns out, Gamamaru was pulling the strings from behind the scenes for over 1,000 years. The ultimate mastermind of the shinobi world and the true guardian of Mount Myoboku's wisdom. Fukasaku. If Gamamaru is the ancient and mystical soul of Mount Myoboku, then Fukasaku is its beating heart and guiding hand. Fukasaku is one of the 2 great sage toads of Mount Myoboku. With over 800 years of experience, he and his wife, Shima, are symbols of wisdom and power that have stood the test of time. They've watched countless ninja generations rise and fall, accumulating knowledge that few beings in the Naruto world could ever match. He was the mentor of Jiraiya and Naruto. Let's be real, without Fukasaku, there wouldn't be a senjutsu master Jiraiya, and Naruto wouldn't have perfected Sage Mode in time to take down Pain. Training in senjutsu isn't like learning an ordinary jutsu. It's an ancient, dangerous art that requires both skill and insane patience. Fukasaku guided Jiraiya through the brutal learning curve, helping him tap into nature energy. Sure, Jiraiya never fully mastered Sage Mode, but even an imperfect Sage Mode made him one of the strongest ninjas alive. With Naruto, though, the challenge was next level. Unlike Jiraiya, who had sharp instincts and years of experience, Naruto was impatient, hyperactive, and way too restless to sit still. But with 8 centuries of teaching wisdom, Fukasaku saw the hidden potential in this unpredictable ball of energy. He crafted a special training method that played to Naruto's strengths. Yep, shadow clones again, allowing him to master in weeks what took Jiraiya years. Fukasaku's real strength, of course, is perfect mastery of senjutsu. He can absorb and balance natural energy with insane precision and speed.
This lets him pull off some straight-up ridiculous feats, like lifting massive boulders way bigger than himself, or better yet, yeeting Gamabunta, a literal giant toad, across the battlefield. Besides, Fukasaku's also a beast when it comes to ninjutsu. In the anime, we see him using water release to fire high-pressure blasts strong enough to slice through one of Pain's summoned creatures. He's also skilled in wind release, and when he teams up with Shima and Jiraiya, they can whip up powerful gusts capable of knocking back even the toughest opponents.
Still, his most impressive ability? Sound-based genjutsu. Yeah, while most genjutsu in Naruto rely on visuals, Fukasaku and Shima's demonic illusion, toad confrontation, chant works through sound, making it extremely rare and ridiculously hard to counter. This technique was so powerful that it almost took down 3 of Pain's bodies at once. Beyond his combat skills, Fukasaku is also a brilliant strategist. He was one of the first to figure out the weaknesses in Pain's Rinnegan abilities. While even Konoha's top-tier geniuses were still scrambling to understand how Pain's 6 paths worked, Fukasaku had already pieced together the mechanics and limitations, giving Naruto the crucial intel he needed to pull off his victory. Shima. If we're talking about Fukasaku, we have to talk about Shima too. Known as the mother of the Toad Way, she and her husband, Fukasaku, formed the legendary 2 Great Sage Toads. As disciples of the Great Toad Sage, these two are the perfect blend of raw battle power and top-tier strategy. Absolute pillars of the Myoboku Toad Clan. Now, when it comes to fighting, Shima is stacked with abilities. She's a Sage Mode master. She can extend her tongue over 10 meters and spits out corrosive mucus from her special toad warts. Pretty wild. Her teamwork with Fukasaku and Jiraiya is very impressive, especially with their fire release, Toad Oil Flame Bullet. And of course, she's also one half of the terrifyingly powerful demonic illusion, Toad Confrontation Chant, a genjutsu strong enough to stun even Rinnegan users. Especially, she single-handedly summoned an entire army of toads, Gamabunta, Gamahiro, Gamaken, Fukasaku, Gamakichi, and even Naruto, straight into Konoha's battlefield during Pain's invasion. Let that sink in. A whole squad of high-level summons, all at once. Honestly, without Shima's guidance and backup, Naruto's fight against Pain would have been way rougher. Gamma. Gamma is actually the first named Toad in the entire series, and if you don't remember his debut moment, well, he straight up smacked Ebisu with his tongue for interrupting Jiraiya while he was, doing research for his Icha Icha Paradise series at the hot springs. Right off the bat, that tells us a few things about Gamma. 1. He's got some serious taijutsu skills. 2. His tongue is a lethal weapon. He even wears a special armor set, and once blocked an attack from Kisame Hoshigaki, the Akatsuki member known as the Tailless-Tailed Beast. That says something actually. Speaking of Akatsuki, remember that moment when Kisame was about to cut off Naruto's hand to stop him from using jutsu? Jiraiya summoned Gamma as a shield to protect his student. Quite interesting that, in a world where almost every summon talks, this guy is all about that strong, silent warrior energy. He doesn't say much. That's why fans often see him as the ultimate real man. Quiet, powerful, and always ready to throw down when needed. Basically, Jiraiya's personal bodyguard through and through. Oh, and fun fact, he's the one who held the sacred summoning contract, making him Naruto's very first link to the toads of Mount Myoboku. Gamabunta. Gamabunta, aka Bunta for short, is the chief toad of Mount Myoboku. And I'm not just talking about his rank. This guy is massive, smokes a pipe like a seasoned warrior, and carries himself with a swagger that says, yeah, I'm strong, and I know that. His first appearance was absolute chaos. Naruto accidentally summoned him while training, and Bunta was not amused. Imagine being a giant legendary toad, minding your own business, and suddenly stuck babysitting some loudmouth kid. Yeah, I'd be grumpy too. This toad is a legend. He's been in some of the biggest fights in the series. Minato summoned him to take on the Nine Tails during the Konoha attack. Bunta literally sat on Kurama, using his sheer size to pin the beast down. Of course, even he admitted he couldn't hold the Biju forever. But admit it? That's still wild. And this isn't a one-time thing. Gamabunta has squared up against some serious threats, like Manda, Orochimaru's giant snake, back in the Second Ninja War. And of course, the epic showdown with Shukaku when Gaara lost control. Just insane. He, big enough to fight against Shukaku, sliced off one of Shukaku's arms with his giant tanto. Unlike most summons that show up for a quick attack and disappear, Bunta actually sticks around, fighting till the end and making real tactical decisions. Now, let's talk power. Bunta is the full package, brute strength, elite combat skills, and high-level ninjutsu. He is very good at swordsmanship. He wields his tanto like an absolute pro. In addition, Bunta also has water-release jutsu with insanely strong water pressure. And let's not forget his Toad Oil Flame Bullet, a devastating combo attack where he spits oil that his summoner can ignite into a massive fire blast. And for a guy the size of a beast, Bunta moves shockingly fast. He can leap out of deep pits, dodge incoming attacks, and even pull off aerial combos like a ninja. That's crazy agility. At the end of the day, Gamma Bunta is one of the most well-rounded and tactical. His raw power, versatility, and ability to work seamlessly with his summoner put him right up there with legends like Manda and Katsuyu. If you need a summon that's gonna fight to the last breath, Bunta's your guy. Gamaken sounds a bit odd, right? His first appearance was when Jiraiya summoned him to face off against Pain, and what we got was a massive warrior with destructive power, but also a surprisingly humble attitude. That signature line of his, "I'm not that good at this," really stuck, making him a perfect contrast to Gamabunta's cocky swagger or Gamahiro's calm demeanor. Well, he's the modest warrior of the bunch. Now, let's talk about his combat style. Gamaken is a master of close combat, wielding a Sasumata, a kind of spear with 3 prongs, and a Sakazuki shield. The way he swings that Sasumata is like a deadly dance, cutting through the battlefield. As soon as Gamaken steps onto the battlefield, that self-doubt vanishes, and he turns into a battle machine. Let's talk about some of his epic moments. During the fight with Pain, Gamaken single-handedly held off multiple summons, buying time for Jiraiya to call on Fukasaku and Shima, which was a crucial moment that set up the whole battle. He was actively playing a pivotal role in the fight. And let's not forget that he helped defend Konoha alongside Gamabunta and Gamahiro. Yeah, teamwork. Even when facing Pain's multi-headed dog, Gamaken kept his cool, warning his teammates about the dog's special abilities. Moreover, Gamaken's endurance is quite impressive. During the defense of Konoha, he took a ton of bites from Pain's dog summons and kept fighting. Unfortunately, his tough luck caught up to him when Daivapath used Shinra Tensei, sending Gamaken flying out of Konoha and knocking him out after crashing into a mountain. Tough way to go. Gamahiro. Gamahiro, the giant toad from Mount Myoboku, is one serious fighter. This guy stands out with his massive swords and a combat style that's all about precision. No wasted moves. The first time we saw him, he squashed a giant snake from Orochimaru. Yeah, when you're that big, you can do that. What makes Gamahiro so special is the perfect mix of raw power and swordsmanship. In the fight against Pain, he sliced up the giant ox into pieces with impressive accuracy, all while holding his own against the multi-headed dog for a long time. Unlike Gamabunta or Gamaken, who always have something to say, Gamahiro is a man of few words. But when the 4th Shinobi World War rolled around, he came back with a bang. He wiped out White Zetsu and helped guard the battlefield, proving just how reliable he is as an ally to Konoha. This guy's the real deal, and while he may not be the loudest, he sure knows how to make his presence felt when it matters most. Gamakichi. Gamakichi is the eldest son of Gamabunta, and trust me, his journey is pretty wild. When he first showed up, Gamakichi was just a tiny frog who loved to argue with his little brother, Gamatatsu, and constantly begged for candy from the people who summoned him. That's a fun contrast to his father, the mighty and intimidating Gamabunta. But yeah, Gamakichi didn't stay small for long. Eventually, he grew up and got as big and strong as his dad. When it comes to fighting, Gamakichi shows off the perfect mix of his father's legacy and his own natural talent for senjutsu. He's a master of the tanto, just like his dad, and has some seriously impressive jumping skills. But what's even cooler? He's been sensitive to natural energy since he was a kid. That's what makes him the perfect partner for Naruto, especially when they're facing off against enemies who can mess with regular chakra. Gamakichi's big moment came during the Fourth Ninja War when Naruto summoned him to face the Ten Tails. From the little frog always in his father's shadow, Gamakichi became a full-blown warrior, standing tall beside Naruto on one of the most brutal battlefields. One of his most important contributions was the starch syrup gun, enhanced by senjutsu, when he attacked Obito. That attack was cool, and more importantly, it helped Naruto and Tobirama find Obito's weakness to senjutsu, which was really a game changer. Compared to other toads like the serious Gamabunta or the self-doubting Gamaken, Gamakichi brings a youthful energy and an optimistic spirit to the table. He's not afraid to joke around even in the middle of tough situations, but when it's time to get serious, he knows what's up. He's like the new generation of Myoboku, ready to carry on the legacy of those who came before him and take it even further.
Gamatama. Gamatama is probably one of the most overlooked characters in the world of Naruto. Yeah, he barely shows up. Gamatama is actually a tadpole that hasn't quite grown into a full-fledged toad yet. Since he's still so small, he doesn't have the ability to fight. So instead, he takes on the role of a name registration clerk. Basically, a secretary who manages the list of residents at Mount Myoboku. Yep, even in a world filled with powerful ninjas and mythical creatures, the toads have their own system of organization. Gamatama's job is all about keeping things in order. Pretty interesting. So even the smallest beings in the Naruto world have their own place and responsibility. Gamatama is a subtle yet important representation of the growth process of the toads in Myoboku. While most of the other toads we see are all big and battle-ready, Gamatama gives us a peek into the development stage of the toads and how they slowly evolve and get assigned different tasks as they grow.
Gamatatsu. Gamatatsu is the other son of the mighty Gamabunta, and he's got this adorable goofy face that just screams, "I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed." He debuted during the intense battle against Orochimaru. Now, unlike his father, Gamabunta, who's all big, badass, and ready to crush anything in his path, or his older brother, Gamakichi, who's a bit more grown up and serious, Gamatatsu comes in with a clueless, almost comical face, completely unaware of the high-stakes situation around him. While in the manga, Gamatatsu only has a brief appearance. The anime expanded his character quite a bit, especially in the filler episodes. He's got some solid teamwork potential, especially when paired with Naruto, showcasing some cool combo techniques like wind release, toad oil bullet, and wind release, toad gun. When you compare Gamatatsu to Gamabunta, who usually fights alone with his overwhelming strength, or Gamakichi, who gradually evolves into an independent fighter, Gamatatsu shines through his ability to support and coordinate attacks. Gerotora. Gerotora is a toad from Mount Myoboku with a very unique role. Gerotora is essentially a living safe responsible for guarding the key to the Nine-Tails seal. Yeah, this little guy's got some serious security duties. This toad is very special. Well, instead of just being your average toad, he can expand into a scroll that holds complex sealing formulas. Pretty cool. While most shinobi are all about boosting their combat skills, Gerotora represents the other side of ninjutsu, preserving and passing on secrets. Gerotora's journey is connected to 3 important generations of Konoha. It starts with Minato Namikaze, who entrusted the 8 trigram seal key to him in his final moments, then to Jiraiya, who temporarily took on the responsibility, and finally to Naruto, who becomes the official heir. It's like a passing of the torch through the ages. But when Great Toad Sage wanted to give Naruto the key, Gerotora strongly opposed, doubting whether the boy could control it. It's a reflection of Gerotora's personality. Not a fighter, but definitely principled. He's willing to stand up to even the most respected figures of Mount Myoboku. This little reluctance led to a funny but meaningful moment when Fukasaku had to literally kick Gerotora in the belly to get him to cooperate with Naruto. Kosuke. Kosuke. Yep, he's the messenger from Mount Myoboku. Kind of like the communication guy in the world of ninja. Pretty important role indeed. Not much is known about him, but what we do know is that Kosuke's speed is top tier, matching some of the best ninjas out there. And on top of that, he's got some serious stamina, allowing him to travel long distances without breaking a sweat. This toad is basically the link between Konoha and Naruto, who's out training on Mount Myoboku.
He's the living connection that keeps the flow of info going, crucial for keeping things running smoothly. Now, here's the twist. When Konoha was in ruins, Kosuke was supposed to be the one to deliver the news and call Naruto back to save the day. But Danzo Shimura, in a cold-blooded move to prevent Naruto from falling into Akatsuki's hands, had Kosuke killed.
Gamaden. Gamaden is the elite toad from Mount Myoboku. He doesn't get much screen time, but trust me, he's a key player in the fight against Pain. He was the messenger. So when Fukasaku realized Konoha was under attack, he quickly sent Gamaden on a mission to alert Shima and get the Toad army to Konoha. Thanks to Gamaden's speed and accuracy, Naruto and the Toads, Gamabunta, Gamaken, and Gamahiro, arrived just in time to help. If they were even a little bit late, Konoha would have been in huge trouble against Pain's assault. Long story short, Gamaden's lightning-fast movements and spot-on message delivery played a huge role in Konoha's victory.